Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new then welcome. I make videos helping you guys to make money online with eBay dropshipping. So subscribe if you want to see more videos about that. Today's video is actually going to be a follow-up from a previous video I did where I told you guys about my plan to make 10K in a single month during the year of 2018, and I kind of updated you guys on my progress, how I am getting towards that goal, and some of the things that I'm implementing in order to reach my goal. And one of the things that I briefly mentioned in that video was that for the month of June, I had been listing 100 items a day in my eBay store, all optimized. And I had a huge amount of response from people saying, how on earth do you optimize 100 items a day? And I do optimize them all. So I wanted to make a video talking to you guys about how exactly I managed to optimize 100 items a day in my eBay store. So there's a few steps that I follow in order to speed things up. When I very first started eBay dropshipping, I was not using any software of any kind. I was manually cropping images from the website and manually copying and pasting the descriptions and changing all the item specifics for each and every listing that I did. And I just did it so much. I spent so much time on it that I did become quicker at it. And I got to the point where I could list manually without any software 10 to 15 items in an hour. So then once I discovered software, because I was already at up to 15 items an hour without software, this immediately doubled to 30 an hour, and sometimes I could do even more than 30 in an hour. And that's because I was doing it manually, and because I spent so much time, I just figured out ways to do it quicker and quicker as time went on. So I'm going to share some of those ways with you guys today. I've shared these with a lot of my students and some of my coaching clients, and some people like them and some people find that it doesn't help with their workflow. So it all really depends on you as a person, how you work, how you're more productive, but this is just what I find makes me much quicker. So the first thing you're going to do is choose a source. So you want to stick to just one source for your 100 items in a day, and I'll come to explain a little bit more about why later, but you don't want to be jumping from source to source. The more that you can keep the same, the better for this process. So pick one source that you really like, that you've worked with before or that you've tested out, and that's the source that you're going to be using to list 100 items from on that day. The next thing you're going to do is choose 100 items. So I had a lot of comments saying, oh, by the time you choose the item and then optimize it and then go back and choose another one. No, that's not how I work, and I probably should have explained in that video. I'm not choosing those 100 items during the time that I spoke about. So I'm in an hour where I list 30 items. I'm not choosing and listing 30 items. Those items are already ready for me to go and ready for me to list. So what you're going to do first is choose the 100 items that you're going to be listing either that day or the next day. And the easiest way to choose 100 items is to find a way to generate a search result in the supplier that you're using, on the website that you're using, that gives you pages and pages of results that you can then quickly sort through and select what you would like. The next thing I do is I right click on each of the items and select open in a new tab. Now, I know there is a software that I believe Jack Pittman uses that does this automatically, but I don't want to open up every single item. I only want to open up the items that I have selected that I'm going to list, and I'm not too precious about this when I'm doing my 100 a day. I'm just searching for items that I think will sell based on my experience. I'm not going to go too deep into that in this video because I want this to be quick and concise. But you're going to select items that you want to list in your store. You're going to right click on them and open them in a new tab. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to open up a spreadsheet of some kind. So either you have Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets is what I use now because it keeps it all online. You're going to go into each of your tabs that you previously opened and copy and paste the URL at the top and paste it into your Google Sheets document. Now, if you are using the software that I use, which is Hustle Got Real, up by the URL on the right-hand side, there will be a little box which turns green or red. If it's green, that means you don't already have that item listed in your eBay store. If it's red, that means you do already have the item listed in your eBay store. So you can just close down that tab and move on to the next one. And you just want to keep this going as quickly as possible. And if I decide I'm going to list 100 items in the day, on my spreadsheet, I will have 110 because as you go through them, you might find things wrong with them. Maybe you decide, actually, that's not a good item. It's too high priced to add on a markup. It might be out of stock. there's many reasons why you wouldn't then go and list it when you come to list. So I like to add in a buffer, so at least 110 items. So with practice, this shouldn't take you very long, but that's still going to save you time when you come to list, rather than you listing an item, trying to find one, listing an item, trying to find another. Even then, if you don't get around to listing all 100 in a day, the next day when you sit down to list, you'll already have items ready to go. So you have a few choices here. You can either find your 100 items each day and then list them that day. Or what I like to do is on a Sunday, sit down and find the items that I'm going to be listing for the week. So Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, when I don't have much else going on, I will sit and I'll create a spreadsheet, and in the spreadsheets there's a different tab for each day. A tab for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. And on each tab I'm going to add 110 items to list. Sometimes I'll break this up. So on a Sunday, I would just find items for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so 330 items. Then on the Wednesday, I'll go in and I'll do it for the rest of the week. The reason why is because sometimes things might be out of stock by the time you come to list them, if you've done this too far in advance, and also because finding 700 items to list is a lot of boring, tedious work, so I might break that up. So I'll go in and do that for each day. As I said, I will stick to one supplier per day. So I know a lot of you use Amazon. You could do 100 items from Amazon for the Monday tab, and then on the Tuesday tab you could have 100 items from Vero XL, and so on and so forth. So next is listing the item. So when I sit down to list, I just copy the URL from the sheet, paste it into a web browser, and obviously you just tick the little green box and Hustle Got Real will preload as much information as possible for the listing. Main thing is just change the title, do a fully optimized title. Again, this is something that I'm incredibly fast at because I've done so many of them. I know exactly what words to put in these items to get them to sell, and that has just come from experience. There's no quick way around it. Hustle Got Real does now have suggestions for those of you who are newbies, but always try and think of your own keywords as well. The main question here is, if you wanted this item, what would you type in? Once your title's done, Hustle Got Real, based on your settings, will automatically do your pricing for you, so you don't have to worry about your pricing. When I first started using the software, I would spot check it, but now I'm confident that it's correct. I just let it do what it does. I never changed the pricing. Next are the item specifics. The only item specifics that I will take the time to fill out are the ones that really matter. So first of all, the ones that eBay requires you to fill out. And second of all are ones that people would filter by. So if you go into eBay and search for an item that you want to buy, you will see on the left-hand side there is a bunch of boxes that you can tick. So for example, if you were searching for clothes, obviously you don't want to dropship clothes, but if you were searching for clothes, on the left-hand side there would be a size box that you could tick. So you could say, only show me dresses that come in a size 8. And if you ticked that box, what eBay would do is remove all of the items where the seller hadn't taken the time to put in the size in the item specifics. So if you link that back to dropshipping, if there's something that you think the buyer might be overwhelmed with the amount of options, and use that left hand side to filter their results further, those are the things that you want to fill in your listing as a priority. Anything else, I don't worry about it. Next is the description, and here again is why it's important to work with the same supplier for the day that you are listing 100 items, because suppliers tend to have very similar description boxes for each of their items. Their description boxes are always pretty much the same, and what this means is that when you come to edit your description, if there's something that maybe you want to take out of the description, it's going to be in the same place every single time. So once you've done the first 3, you know, okay, this is the format of the description, and these are the things that I typically want to take out of these descriptions, and these are the things that I want to leave in. So once you've done a few, every time you go to that description box, you know where you're looking, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want to remove, and maybe what you want to add in, and that just makes it 10 times quicker. The last thing I check is the images, and this one's pretty simple. I just look to make sure that all of the images are okay. There's none that has massive branding that isn't linked to the product. So sometimes suppliers will have an image that is just kind of information about the product. eBay does not like you to have these. Your images should just be images of the product, not images about the guarantee or images about the features of the product. That should all be in your description. So I delete all of those, and that is it. That's all I do. I hit submit and I move on to the next one. And this is the way I can list so many items in a day, around 30 in an hour. And what I do is I'll split it up usually. So I'll do an hour at a time, go and do some other work, another hour, go and do some other work. Sometimes I'll push it to an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on how my day is scheduled. But that is how I list 100 items in a day. And I wanted to actually ask you guys if you'd be interested in doing a challenge for July. So comment below if you are interested in joining. I'm not going to say 100 items a day for everyone, because a lot of people, this isn't your full-time job. You have other jobs, other things to do. And also some of you don't have the account limits to be able to list 100 items a day. So what I'm thinking of, this is just an idea, is maybe we have a kind of separate Facebook group where people agree to a challenge. So for those of you who are beginners, maybe you will commit to listing 10 items every day in July. For those of you who are intermediate, maybe you would say, would list 30 items a day. And those of you who are advanced would do the 50 items a day challenge. So what I'm thinking is, if we set up a separate Facebook group, because the main Facebook group we have at the moment, guys, is there's a lot of noise in there. There's a lot of, extra stuff that's maybe not relevant, which is a shame, but that's just the way it's gone. So if we have this separate group, it will strictly be for people doing this challenge. Anyone who comes in asking questions that are not relevant to the challenge or listing faster will be kicked out of the group. It's just going to be for this one thing. So if you guys will be interested in that, definitely comment below. I think it would be great to have a kind of support group, and July and August are known as the kind of summer slowdown, and this will be a great way to combat the summer slowdown, block out all the noise of everyone who will be talking about the summer slowdown and how slow sales are. I want this to be a positive group where we're all talking about how hard we're grinding and how much work we're doing. You guys can post screenshots if you want to show how many listings you had when you started versus how many you're on now, or screenshots to show how much your sales have increased since the beginning of the month. And I think it'll be a really good thing to have just a positive group of hard workers rather than a bigger group where some people aren't really working as hard. If you're in the group, you know what I mean. So comment below if you would like to join that challenge, and I will get something set up on Facebook. Very conveniently, the 1st of July is a Sunday, so that would be our first day where we are all sitting down and coming up with our list that we're going to work through for the week. I really love when the dates line up with certain days. So that'll be good. I haven't mentioned this, I don't think, on my channel, but I'm actually moving houses that weekend. But I'm still going to be doing it. I'm going to move houses. I'm going to get the Wi-Fi set up beforehand, and we're going to get this done. So comment below if you want to join in. Like if this is the kind of video you like to see and you found it helpful. And of course, remember to subscribe to see more videos to help you make money with eBay dropshipping. And I'll see you in the next one.